All right, Jimmy. So, when was the moment you decided that you wanted to go to Clemson?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. It was really last minute. I applied to Clemson. They just sent out a bunch of kind of apply to this school portfolios. Every high school student gets a million of them. And I knew it was near my sister. She went to school, in Columbia, South Carolina. So I was like, I'll send an application. I liked their holistic approach. They're like, we're really holistic. We look at the whole student. And I really believed them. So I sent out the application, just kind of forgot about it because it wasn't high on my list, just because I didn't know much about it. And then I was visiting schools during April break my senior year. It was about 10 days before the deposit deadline. And I thought I was going to go to the University of Maryland. That's what I told everyone. It's like, that's where I'm going. I'm just going to go check it out one last time. Whatever. So saw Maryland, liked it, went down to visit my sister, liked the school she was at too. And my sister and my mother were like, just drive to Clemson, see what you think. It's 2 hours. Go check it out, see what you think. So my mother and I drove up and we did a tour, and I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. Uh, I loved the environment. It was real calm, peaceful campus. People were really happy. You could see it on people's faces, and it was just gorgeous. Upstate South Carolina, right on a lake, and I just knew it fit my persona really well. I felt like I could study and really thrive in that environment, so that's why I chose it. Oh yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. It almost feels like the everything's shorter. So the fall season, the winter, we have all four seasons, which is really cool because it's upstate South Carolina, so it's kind of in like the foothill mountainy areas,
Yeah.
but it's so much shorter. So you get the leaves on the trees much longer, and you get that nice weather much longer. And you
Yeah.
kind of still have, but you still get like the beauty of autumn, and you still kind of see like the leaves changing and falling
Yeah. That's
a little bit.
awesome. That's a huge plus. I feel like in my experience, there was like two different schools. There was school in September and then the rest of the year. Like it was like school in September was great. Like it was so funny though, because my first year, everyone's got like shorts on, flip flops, going to class in September, and then October hit, and it was no more of that. Like you better start getting winter boots before they all sell out at the local store. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, that's
it's
so
actually
funny. You say?
yeah. I was just gonna say, when you get your class ring, they actually this local woodsmith makes
Wow.
the box that your class ring comes in from a tree from Clemson's campus, which
Holy
is
crap,
pretty cool.
that's so
Yeah,
sick. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool. Um,
So
that's so funny that you were like not gonna go there. So what else about the campus that really like drew you in? If like just like the beauty of it, and then you were just like you could just see yourself. Like, did you went to like the gyms? You must have, right? And like did you go see buildings and you could see yourself like doing work in there, eating in there, like making new friends type thing? Or
yeah, so one area that really caught my eye, so the center of campus, so you have Cooper Library. If you're standing, I don't know, it's kind of like the equivalent of a quad, right? But it's this big hill and there's kind of like big levels to it. So you can
uh-huh.
like go down level to level.
Yeah.
And then there's this amphitheater made out of white marble, and then a big pond, right? And then
Yeah.
Cooper Library. It's kind of it's like the center of campus, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was standing, right way up. There's a bell as well, so it's like a bell, big quad area, amphitheater, uh, the reflecting pond, and then the library. And that just, it just epitomized to me kind of like the college academic atmosphere, because you had these big buildings on both sides, the library in the center. And it's kind of funny because I remember on the cover of the pamphlet they sent me in the mail was the reflector pond with these, the big shoots, fountains shooting out of it. And I was really excited to see it. And they happened to be cleaning the pond the day I went. So we turned the corner and it was completely empty. So I know that was a bummer, but it didn't make that much of a difference. It was still
Yeah.
gorgeous, you know.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how special the campus was. And there's a lot of buildings I love, like Hendrix. It's a student a student center with some restaurants, like just fast food places you can eat, and a ton of places to study. And uh,
So that's
a
on
lot of red
campus?
brick. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's on
sick.
campus.
So it was like a building, or is it kind of like a stretch of a street with like, shops and whatever on it, or is it?
So Hendrix is an on-campus student center. It's its own building, and there's
Okay.
3 floors. Might actually be 4 floors, but
Yeah.
3 floors of studying space. I spent a lot of time there, my whole time
So
there,
it's
but
like
that building's really
lounges, kind of
gorgeous.
like.
Yeah, lounges, exactly. And there were just kind of buildings like that. It was good mix between like old-fashioned, old, traditional, like red clay Southern buildings, and then these really modern, gorgeous, glass
Yeah.
buildings. So it all fit really nicely, and it just seemed like a good place to study and thrive. So
Yeah, those lounges are key because I remember during finals the library is always super packed, and I was always like,
mhm.
why are there a million books in here? I actually was so mad I looked it up. There's like 1.2 million book. I don't even know. There are honestly I have no idea the number. There's a bunch of books in the library, and I'm like, why are there so many books? There's more books than there's tables and seats, and it's like
Yeah,
obviously, but I mean, it's just I'm like, why are there so many books here? No one even checks them out. Like we
yeah,
don't use the computer. So it was super clutch because they started to build more of those lounges that you're talking about. Those are kind of
yeah.
more like friendly if you get, group projects or something. You meet up at a lounge, just something casual. Um, so is that where you mainly studied in that student center building, kind of, if you had to say? And then that in the library,
Yeah,
probably?
yeah, I did almost all of my studying in Hendrix. It honestly just was, when people are in the library and they're super long, it kind of gets kind of, I don't know, it's like that library smell, and it kind of makes it makes you not want to be there. Just I don't know. I was a big believer in finding alternate places to study. So I spent a lot
Yeah.
of time studying in Hendrix. I studied for the MCAT, all of it in Hendrix. Just it was open
Yeah.
all summer too, so that was really cool.
That is really
And it
cool.
all, yeah, and it was also not open all night, and that kind of helped me too because I couldn't just be like, oh, I'll just study till 3 a.m. Obviously, there were times I did that. I'd go to the library, but it
Yeah.
also kind of gave me like a start and end point. Like, okay, you're gonna get there at 7 a.m. It's gonna close at 11. Whatever. You know what you got to do in that window. It's not as I don't know.
So
Help me stay disciplined.
yeah, no, for sure. You kind of gave you that like time restraint, like, oh, I got to finish this by this time, or I have to go to the library and I don't want to go to the library, 'cause whatever. Um, so the food places in there, were they like, did you have like Clemson credit or something, like a card that your parents could put money on or something, and then you could like buy food with the card? Because that's how we did it at my school. I'm not sure if that was like that at all.
Yeah, yeah. So we have your Clemson ID, and there's two types. You have paw points, and then you have swipes. So swipes get you into just the traditional dining hall,
Okay.
and then paw points, they're basically just credit that act as money
Right, for
at
specific
these. Yeah,
places. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
right.
Um, how many dining halls did you have?
So we have two traditional dining halls,
Okay.
Schletter and Core Dining Hall. So they're both on opposite ends. One's on the east side of campus, one's on the west side of campus.
Mm-hmm.
Core is brand new. It opened second semester my freshman year. And then we have Hendrix is kind of a dining area, and then I don't know the name of it, but there's one more dining area kind of just right smack dab in the middle that has a Chick-fil-A, and
Oh, that's
then we
cool.
have yeah, it's really cool. And then we have pod markets kind of scattered all around that you can get whatever they sell, like Blue Trees dressing and random stuff in there, paper.
Okay, so it's kind of like
uh
a pharmacy type store, like a convenience
yeah,
store, kind of like.
it's a convenience store that sells really useful things and really random things. They're all
Okay.
kind of unique. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Are any of the dining halls 24/7?
No, but during finals week, what they do is they open the dining halls. They alternate each day, but they'll open them in the middle of the night so that
Oh, nice.
when you're studying really late, they do
Yeah.
like a midnight breakfast. It's kind of fun too because everyone's
Yeah.
studying and link up and eat and have a good time. So
Do you remember how late the latest one was open till, by any chance? Or if you had to guess?
so yeah, so I think it's open till. I mean, you could probably find food to eat until 11, but the
Yeah.
traditional dining halls like Schletter and Core,
Yeah.
I think they close at 10, but most of the food they stop bringing out like fresh food around 8,
Yeah.
I would say, at night. Hmm.
That was like similar to my college too. We're kind of close to UConn, I guess. Like if you want to go for like big schools in the area,
Hmm.
we would always be like, UConn has 24-hour dining. Like, why don't we? Like, blah blah blah. Like, so apparently they have great great dining at UConn. If that's a big thing on your checklist. All right, cool. So did you like the food? Was the dining hall? I remember it was a kind of dining hall type. Got the job done, but
Yeah, I actually really liked it. I only had a meal plan my freshman year, but I would still just buy swipes
yeah,
sophomore, junior, senior year because I thought it was convenient. They changed it up a lot. They do a lot of shifting themes for food, and it was all locally sourced, which I don't know if I couldn't tell the difference from a taste perspective, but
oh, okay,
just
yeah,
it
yeah.
still
That
still
was
was
that was
cool,
yeah.
So they'd have a station, like to do like Korean food or Indian food.
Oh, cool. Nice.
It just kind of shift Chinese food.
Yeah, that's
It would
awesome.
just always shift. Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
Greek, Italian, and every few days it would switch, and there'd be like a meal of the day, and they did that at
Oh,
both dining halls. So that was cool.
that's
And I
awesome.
really liked the breakfast. Yeah, the breakfast was great. They have a omelet stand. You just put whatever you want in, and they
Nice.
stopped doing at 11 in the morning. They stopped making omelets,
Hmm.
but we'd go from PT, my buddies and I. We'd work out, and then we'd go there and just crush a huge omelet. It was really fun. So yeah, got to know the lady who made the omelets really
Yeah,
well. So
me too. You start to make friends with the people who work in there. It's great. So did you live in a dorm all 4 years or just freshman year? Or?
yes, I lived in Lever Hall my freshman year, and then I lived off campus the rest of the time.
Okay, so just freshman year and then off campus. Was off campus close to campus?
Yes, I always lived within 2 miles of campus.
Oh, that's
Uh,
really close.
yeah,
That's not bad at all. And then so would you drive into campus park and then go to class? Or
but
would you walk
yes,
sometimes maybe? I don't
I
know.
walked rarely. It wasn't a great walk,
Yeah, it's a
but
kind of long walk for just to go to
mhm.
class.
But yeah, I would drive. I bought a parking pass. It was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Parking passes. It's kind of uh, parking at Clemson's a sore subject because
Yeah, same.
you pay a
Yeah.
bunch of money and then you usually park super far away. It's
Yeah.
super hot, so by the time you get to the class, you're like
Like
dripping sweat.
sweating. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was probably the one good side of like the fall, fall and spring is that you can wear whatever clothes and you're not sweating because it's not wicked hot outside.
Yeah.
Were there shuttles on campus from the parking lot to like into campus, kind of like?
Yeah, there were. Yeah, there
Okay.
was. And there's an app. I don't know. They tell you
Yeah.
about it your first day there, and you can always track where the buses are. There's a bunch of different bus routes. The buses actually run from Clemson all around the campus, and then all the different apartment complexes in the area. So if you
Oh,
didn't
that's
want to bring your
awesome.
car down, you could still get to campus pretty easily.
From
So it's
off
pretty cool.
campus.
Yeah.
That's so cool that they do that. I think that's awesome. I wish more schools would do that. I think that's like such a awesome thing because it is a pain to bring your car sometimes, depending on you lived all the way up in Rhode Island, so it's like you have to drive your car, X amount of hours. It's kind of a pain. So if you
Mhm.
didn't have to, I mean, I think that's a huge seller for
Yeah.
someone like if I was deciding between schools, I think I would definitely whatever go
And
with.
they run until I think 2:30 in the morning. So if
Oh
you're going
wow.
out on the weekends, yeah, you can. I It's pretty cool. Yeah, so you can get back home if you're downtown. I'm not sure the exact like how that works, but I know I've been on a few buses pretty late.
That's pretty
Like
cool.
1, 2 in the morning. Yeah.
So would you go out to a bar you said in town, so is that like near campus, I guess?
Yeah. So it's called Tiger Town.
Okay.
So you have Clemson's main campus is all one thing, and then it's called Bowman Field. So if you're gonna look at Clemson, you're gonna see Bowman Field. It's kind of like the famous spot at Clemson. You can see Tillman Hall, which is this big tower, kind of a really figurehead of the campus. And if you're standing on Bowman, just with your back towards the rest of campus, there's this just one strip, and it's called Tiger Town, and that's where there's a handful of bars, and they kind of offshoot off this one road, and so that's
so
kind
cool.
of the down. Yeah, it's the downtown area. It's not very big. It's pretty small, just a handful of bars, but it's really cool and convenient.
It's all you need, right?
Yeah.
Just a handful of bars. That's awesome though. That's so cool. I feel like that's another huge thing I would be looking for if I had to do it all over again. Just a place to kind of go out, I guess. Relax, hang out, meet new friends. So back to like the dorm experience, did you like the dorms, or was it kind of just, whatever? Like, how many did you have? A lot of roommates, or
Yeah, I had one roommate. We met on one of those roommate finder websites
Facebook thing, or
yeah, it was
class of 2020 Facebook group, probably.
yeah, exactly. And I sent him a text message, and he was like, "Oh, I already have a roommate." And then I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." And then like a month later, he was like, "Actually, I don't." And he's actually a really good friend of mine still. He just graduated civil engineer.
It's awesome.
So it was just he and I, and then we had a shared bathroom. Like the whole floor had a shared bathroom.
Okay.
And it was like the first 5 floors were females, and the next 5 floors were males, I think. So it's half and half. But all the dorms are different. Some are co-ed floors. There might not be any co-ed floors. I can't remember, but they're all like, some are interchanging every floor.
Yeah.
Like weird patterns.
All different setups.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a gender neutral shared. Well, it was pretty weird. It's really weird. I don't recommend it for colleges. If you're thinking about doing it, don't do it. It's weird. So that's cool, because some schools you're not allowed to have the opposite gender in your dorm. So you can, obviously, at Clemson, there's girls and guys in the dorm.
Yeah.
It just seemed like not a good situation. But and then so were there gyms on campus, obviously, and how many were there? Were they nice? Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, so actually there are 2 gyms. One of them is brand new. I've never really even used it. It opened like a year or 2 ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Fike is like the oldest gym there, but it's the primary gym. Both are fully functioning gyms though, but Fike has a pool, saunas,
Oh, cool.
functional fitness
That's
room.
sick. Saunas,
Yeah.
those are huge.
Yeah, it's really cool. I can't really speak on the other one because I don't even think I ever went into it. I know it's got a bunch of like normal gym machines.
Yeah.
And it's brand new, but like I said, I always use Fike. Fike's pretty awesome. Ton of classes you can take, cycling classes. You can sign up for some that are free, some are paid. But yeah, Fike's pretty awesome. And there's, the main lifting area, and then you have kind of a deadlifting area, squat racks, and then you have kind of offset rooms that have kind of focuses. So you have a functional fitness room that's got a bunch of rowers, tires, sandbags, dumbbells.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then other offshoots have other themes. So yeah,
that's another huge thing. My school only had that for athletes, so that's wicked cool that you guys have that as well.
Yeah, but one thing, Fike's not very big. That's the biggest turnoff,
Okay.
So it does feel really congested. And
do you think that, did you have an off-campus membership at a gym at all, or did you always just use that gym?
I went to a CrossFit gym for my sophomore and junior year.
Was that just to do CrossFit, or did you feel like the gym was like too packed, so you wanted to go there?
That was to do CrossFit. Yeah, it was. And I think at the time I would have said it's because the gym was too packed, but I kind of had to learn how to utilize the type of gym that Fike was, and I really hadn't done that yet. So sophomore, junior year, when I was kind of underdeveloped, I went to the CrossFit gym, and then once I developed and kind of gained confidence in my training, I started to go to Fike on my own. So that's kind of how that worked for me.
Yeah, I ended up getting an off-campus one, so I was curious. It was just closer to where I was living off campus, and I didn't have to worry about crowds or going at the wrong time.
Mhm.
Um, so I know Clemson is a huge football school, obviously. Could you talk a little about like what that's like? Because not every school has an awesome football program. So, did you go to all the games? Did you go to some? Like whatever. What's that experience like? Big tailgates, or where do you even tailgate and things like that?
Yeah, so my freshman and sophomore year, I went to every game. Uh, Junior and senior year, I went to the bigger games, and I would kind of lay off some of the smaller games. But I mean, it's awesome. It's a really special
It's like a
environment.
huge like arena, right, or stadium, you want to call it.
Yeah, so it's called Death Valley, and our stadium's on campus, which is really
That's
awesome if you're a
awesome.
student. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it just changes the experience because you can walk to the games. Everybody that's tailgating is tailgating around and on campus, which is really, we don't have tailgating lots, so to
Yeah.
speak. Like some schools, there's like blocked off areas, and that's where the tailgating is.
Yeah.
Clemson, I mean, we have areas, that are kind of like that, but
Yeah.
really it's just throughout the campus. There are
That's cool.
tailgates kind of just set up everywhere. Yeah, it's really, really cool. They do the greatest 30 seconds in college football. So look it up if you don't know what that is. They're most exciting 30 seconds in college football.
That's awesome.
And yeah, they drive. So the players, they drive from their locker room around on the bus. Everyone's going nuts, and they shoot a cannon, and they run down the hill, which is this kind of, they rub Howard Rock, and they run down the hill, and it's really
That's so
special.
cool. Yeah, like a
Yeah,
little
you should
ritual.
gotta look it up. It's really, I'm not doing it justice.
So it's
So
called what's it called again for the viewers who want to look it up?
I think it's called. The announcers always say their most exciting 30 seconds in college football.
All right. Yeah. So there you have it, listeners. Look that up. Is it usually on the same day every week? I didn't go to a good football school, so is it usually like every Sunday or Saturday or something, or are the games
Yeah.
during the week, or is it always on the weekends?
So my senior year, we had a Thursday night game, which was cool. We got the day off from school.
Wow, that's sick.
I think we played Texas A&M. I don't know why I'm
Wow.
drawing a blank on that,
Yeah,
but
that's all
it
good.
was a Thursday night game. Really cool. Got the day off.
Wow, that's sick.
It was a night game too, so that was sweet.
Yeah.
But normally it's on Saturday. Night games are the best though, so we have a few night games a year. And those are the ones I remember the best. They really stick out to me just because, I don't know, just kind of enjoy the whole day and then
Yeah, night games
enjoy the
seem
game
kind
at
of cool.
night.
I mean, they both seem awesome. Either way, it's just like
Mhm.
an awesome time. That's really cool though. And then Clemson's pretty big. I just looked it up in 2016. It was 23,406 students. That's a pretty solid size school. Were there any other sports teams that you supported that also had really like a fun kind of crazy environment? I know the basketball team is like they're usually pretty solid. They're in a good division. Or
Yes. Yeah. So I wouldn't say I was super, I went all the time, but
yeah,
basketball games were awesome. Brand new arena. It's called Little John Coliseum. Gorgeous. Like I said, brand new. Games are really fun. We're in the ACC, so we have, we played Duke,
yeah. That's the
UNC,
best in my opinion. Yeah, that's
yeah,
such a fun.
Louisville.
Yeah, those games must be so much fun.
Yeah.
And then, do you get to go to the games for free because you're a student, or do you have to pay?
Yeah. So Clemson, and it kind of has shifted throughout my time there, but one of my freshman year, nobody had to pay for any tickets. So every student went for free to games, but you kind of had to do this. It was like a portal, so you still had to apply, but you wouldn't have to pay.
Okay.
It still works like this, but now you can buy season tickets to avoid the issues that arise with waiting for the free tickets.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big contested issue my
Yeah.
first 2 years there because everyone's like, oh, that's like Clemson's selling point. We shouldn't have to pay.
Right.
But I didn't really notice a difference. I never
Yeah.
applied for the the season tickets. What I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
really speak on it that much just because
You
I
didn't
just
really have an issue though. You went to games that you wanted to go to most of the time, and you weren't like a crazy diehard going every single week or whatever.
exactly like I didn't see a need to go see us play Wofford and beat
Right.
them by like 58 points. That wasn't something I enjoyed.
Yeah. So if I
So
mean, unless you were like wanting to go to every single game, then you don't really need to do like that whole season ticket thing. But
right.
did you all right, that's cool to know. Was there any like on campus like fan club type things? Like was there like a Tiger club with like students who just were like diehards that wanted to go to all the games?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it,
Yeah,
but
but there is one though.
there is one, and they get to go like they go to the national championship games. It's crazy awesome. I
So
wasn't a part of it, but
yeah, I think well the way my school does it is like you get points for each game that you go to, and then depending on how many points you have at the end of the season, then you like qualify to go and get like travel and stuff from the school to go to the away games.
yeah,
Um, so
I think
yeah,
it's similar to that. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's awesome. They paint up every game, and I'll talk
super
about it
fun.
when I talk about ROTC later.
Okay,
But
cool. Yeah,
yeah, they kind of do a bunch of stuff. I think maybe
that's
it's Clemson Spirit. I don't know. It's
yeah.
something.
Well, they have one, so I mean, I feel like
Mhm.
most schools do have one. That's super fun though. I never joined mine. I actually like tried to start like an underground one. Because I didn't like the rules that were associated with it. I was like, if people just want to go, I'm just gonna make like a group for people who just like to go to basketball games and just organize like a fun group to go together. Um, so all right, cool. So that kind of brings me to ROTC. So what was when was the moment that you decided that you wanted to do that? Did you decide on that before you got to college? Because one of my buddies in my hallway, he didn't decide until he got to college. He kind of just like was at first night, which is kind of like you walk around um, this part of campus and there's all these clubs and activities. And I think there was an ROTC little booth, and he got to talking to them. And, whoever he was talking to, he liked them and ended up, going to a couple events and joining. So was it kind of like that, or did you already know before and or whatever? Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So my freshman year, I was not associated with the ROTC program at all,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't even really know what it was.
Yeah.
I think I had a kind of a negative connotation for really no reason, just for whatever reason. I just
Yeah.
didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
And probably February of my freshman year, I kind of went through like I don't know, I was self-reflecting and didn't really feel centered, so to speak. Like I didn't feel like I was going in the right direction. And uh, I didn't feel disciplined, focused.
Mm.
And I was like, I gotta figure out like my niche and what makes me feel like I'm like doing something that I'm passionate about. I didn't feel like I had any kind of passion. I love my major, love my friends, but I still felt like I didn't have a passion for anything I was doing at Clemson.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, I got out of shape. I was always in shape in high school. I was out of shape, go to bed late, wake up late,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, what is it I'm missing? Like I needed a spark. And I just kind of was doing research online, and Clemson has a rich military history. We were a military academy until the 1960s.
Wow, I didn't even know
Um,
that.
yeah, so we actually were the third largest contributors of second lieutenants in World War II behind West Point and Texas A&M.
Wow.
So yeah, really rich military history. So it
It's
makes
so
being an
cool. Yeah.
ROTC there that much more
Meaningful.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a really informative website because of that.
Yeah.
I growing up, I always thought I was gonna serve, so it was kind of an easy, you know,
Right.
uh, look for me or search. And we have an Air Force program too. I was in the Army ROTC program. It's better in my opinion. No, I'm just kidding. We have a really good Air Force program, but
Yeah, good
um,
Air Force program if you're into that.
yeah, right. Anyway,
Yeah.
and so I just walked down. I met with we have a cadre member whose sole purpose is to recruit from the student body,
Mm-hmm.
and I sat down with them. I was like, listen, I'm this major. I have a great GPA. I'm really fired up. I want to do this. What do I got to do? He said, in the fall, show up to day 1 or day 0. That's what they 0 day. That's what they call it.
Mhm.
And just see if you feel that way, and we'll start working on a scholarship. Um,
Cool.
so yeah, really went
Awesome.
back and forth all spring and summer. Like, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it?
Yeah, right.
And yeah, and I did it. And it's a small commitment until you sign. Like, it's not an instant commitment, which is really nice. You know, my whole first semester in it, I could have left at any time,
Oh, that's cool.
and it wasn't a full commitment until I signed a scholarship contract. So
Awesome. Could you take me through like a day or a week, or what kind of commitments you have on like a weekly basis, maybe when you first get started? I'm sure they all obviously change throughout the whole process, but just kind of like an idea of what it's like, if someone was curious about doing it, what maybe things they could expect, or just whatever the experience is like.
yeah, so it's PT twice a week, a military leadership class once a week, and
So
then
what's PT?
physical training. So
Okay, so physical training twice a week
mhm.
for like
It's
an hour.
yeah, it's an hour. It's from 6 to 7. So that's with the entire battalion. So it's called the Fighting Tiger Battalion. That's what our battalion's called, and it's an hour Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then if you don't meet the PT standards, so if your physical training test isn't sufficient, you'll go a few more times.
Okay.
And if you're contracted, I mean, it's mandatory for everybody, so it's a part of your grade. So this military leadership class, PT is part of your grade, so that's why you have to go. And I always enjoyed it because it was with my friends, and yeah, right, yeah. So we'd form up. There's a bunch of intramural fields at Clemson, kind of all around. You could play sports on. So we'd form up. It's called on the upper intramural fields. It's actually right next to the stadium.
Mhm.
And on Tuesdays we do kind of like body weight circuits, and then
Oh,
on
cool.
Thursdays we do an ability group run. So we'd break up based on your 2 mile time, and you'll run a loop around campus. And Clemson's really, I was really bad at AGRs, as they're called, just because I'm not a natural runner, and I try to run with the fastest group, so that wasn't a good combo. But it worked out well for me because I got in great shape. But it was always really pretty because you'd run and see the lake and just the whole campus, and you're with your buddies, so that's always awesome. So that's what we do. Tuesdays, body weight stuff. Thursdays, we'd run. And every once in a while, we'd do a rock, but
Yeah.
not
And
really.
so that'll be cool when you go back, I think, in the future, and you'll walk through campus, and I feel like you'll be in your head like, oh, I used to run like every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Um, so that's cool. And then you did mention a ruck. Could you just tell people what a ruck is in case no one knows? Um,
Yeah. So it's a march under a weighted backpack. So a little bit faster than a walk, slower than a jog,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So you said two PT day or two PTs per week, and then you mentioned a couple other things. I don't think I caught them though.
Yeah. So we had class once a week, military leadership class, where you just kind of get indoctrinated to the military. It's a crawl, walk, run kind of thing. So you
Mm-hmm.
start freshman year. But I was in the program my freshman year, so I took the freshman class and the sophomore class together, which is kind of a different kind of route, but still didn't really affect me very much. And you're very tightly knit with your grade, so everything you do is with your grade. In terms of just development, you all develop at the same pace. So then you have that class once a week. It's like normal college class, but your instructor's some sort of Army officer or non-commissioned officer. So, and then Thursday afternoons we have PT, or not PT. We have lab, excuse me, and lab we go out and we actually do a mini training event. So we'll practice tactics, and it's really neat. Clemson's program is really special for another reason, because we have this giant experimental forest that nobody's allowed to do anything to it. I don't know, whoever. It's state law, and so we go out and just do all our training out there. And it's really cool because we're actually in the woods, we're not, it makes it a little bit more real. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so the best part about ROTC, and this is probably relatively unique to Clemson, I'm sure a few schools do similar things, but we're very involved with game day. So there's this thing called push-up crew, and we do push-ups when we score our games. And that's not that exciting, but we get to be on the sideline right at the bottom of the hill. So you have the whole student section behind you, right up against the end zone. It's really awesome.
That's sick.
And,
so you're like on the field. I mean, you're not obviously on the field, but you're at the level, like you're on.
Yeah,
the
yeah. We're like, I could walk on and off.
You could walk
field.
on the. That's unreal.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like such a crazy place to be, like, because you hear everyone around you, especially if it's a crazy game.
Yeah, it was awesome. And in our Military Appreciation Day game, so one of the clubs I was in that was associated with ROTC, we did the push-up crew for Military Appreciation Day every year. And there's all these really awesome, generals, colonels.
Wow.
Really important.
So great,
people.
like networking day too.
Oh yeah, and
everyone kind of comes back
before, and they're all Clemson grads. They talk before the game to us. They, they're on the field with us. I have pictures with, men and women that have done some really amazing things. And my junior year was probably my favorite day as a Clemson student because it was just really awesome. I just met awesome people, had an awesome time with my friends. It was really special night. So.
That seems great. And then, one day you'll go back and do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your favorite part. And maybe that could also be your best memory. What was your least favorite part? I got to ask that one. Can't be all roses, Jimmy.
Right. It's not. It's definitely not.
Nothing is.
So, people always say like the hardest kind of leadership is peer leadership, right?
Yeah,
and
for
ROTC
sure.
is all peer leadership. You're trying to lead your peers, and you're trying to be a good follower for your peers when they're in leadership positions.
Yeah,
and that's definitely the hardest part because you're balancing, being somebody's good friend with then being in a position of leadership over them.
Yeah,
and it just causes a lot of stress and every once in a little animosity every once in a while.
For sure.
So it's just a lot of tedious things you got to do, and that's probably my least favorite part about ROTC.
Yeah, I could totally relate to that. Any peer leadership position definitely comes along with those realities. It is what it is. All right, awesome. So that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have anything you want to add to ROTC, now would be a good time. If not, I just have one more final question, and then I'm done with you.
Yeah, I'll just say quick about ROTC.
Yeah.
It's an awesome opportunity, especially if you want to go to school out of state to get your school paid for. Okay. I got almost 3 years of school paid for, and you get a stipend.
That's awesome.
Meet a ton of people. You get opportunities to do a ton of things. I did an internship at Walter Reed Institute of Research.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so you can learn, there's all these summer programs. You can go to, specialty schools that are associated with the Army, airborne, air assault. The opportunities are endless, and a lot of people think like, oh, if I don't get into West Point or the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy, I'm a bum. I can't do anything else. And that's so not true. Right now, I'm an active duty second lieutenant, just like any West Pointer is, and I might not have the West Point experience, but I still have my own personal experience. So it's worth looking into. It's not a huge commitment for a lot of reward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I wish when I was in high school, somebody told me to check it out because I wish I did it for 4 years. I wish I never missed a day. Yeah.
Can you join late? Like if someone wanted to join like junior year or something?
Yeah. So you can join up until your junior year. So if you join after your sophomore year, though, you have to go to what's called basic camp. It's not basic training, it's a different thing, but it's at Fort Knox. and it's, I don't know, like 40 days, and drill sergeants, I guess, yell at you. I'm not really sure. I didn't have to go.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's like a box checker. You check the box that they
catch you
and
up
then
to
you're
speed.
good to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So if someone was, after listening to this, more curious about Clemson ROTC, where would they go to find out more information? Like, should you just type in on Google like Clemson ROTC, and then I'm sure a link would pop up?
Yeah, you just type in Clemson Army ROTC or just Clemson ROTC. You get pages to the Air Force or Army page. Like I said, our Air Force program's excellent as well. Ton of pilots. I mean, it's really.
I feel like
both programs are really, really awesome.
No, if you sign up for RTC, you like completely like committed, obviously, to staying with that. Like, what if for some reason senior year, like you got some weird feeling this no longer like is your path? Like, are you committed to sticking with it, or can you kind of drop? Or
when you're a senior, if you're a senior in the program, you're pretty committed.
Yeah, but you would probably know that. You probably wouldn't have like a change of heart senior year.
Yeah,
obviously.
But up until your senior year, you're pretty. So you go to something called advanced camp.
Okay.
Which between your junior and senior year, you go to advanced camp, and that's the like the final test of ROTC. They grade you based on your grade. You get certain perks or not, I guess.
Yeah.
But so like based on advanced camp, they tell you if you're going to be active duty, what branch you're going to get, etc. So that's what it is. Before you go there, you're not really locked in. Once you go there, you're pretty locked in.
Okay. So, all right, cool. And I think it's also a good thing for meeting friends. Like, I feel like when you go to a bigger school like we did, like you could meet some friends like randomly or in your dorm room freshman year, but I feel like belonging to some type of club or Greek life or ROTC, like just like something that gets together, or maybe even like the fan club, like just something where you get together and you can meet new people, and there's like a little bit of commitment and ties to it that help you network and, with people on campus and, graduates that come back and hang out and still help out with whatever club or Greek life or ROTC that you're involved with. So I think it's a great thing, especially, I mean, if you want to go to a bigger school, I think you should probably look into some type of club or even a club sport or something like that. Like yourself. So looking back, what would you tell your senior year of high school self? If you could tell your senior year of high school self something.
Yeah, I would.
I know it's kind of a big
tough,
one.
Yeah.
If you even had anything to say, maybe you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a few things that I would have done differently. One, I would tell myself to relax a little bit, because I always wanted to do like the right thing for my future, and it just gave me unnecessary anxiety, made me not do things that I should have done, made me switch major once for like a semester for no reason. I love my major. I don't know why I switched.
Yeah.
So just like be patient, let yourself develop, give yourself time to develop. You graduate high school, you're still a kid. I know you want to be all grown up, but you're not. So like give yourself time to become whoever you're supposed to become.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't rush things. It'll come naturally. Don't freak out if the first week you don't meet anybody, because the next week you might, and 3 weeks later you might meet more people. So I remember I called my sister up. My roommate and I were supposed to go. Now, like I said, he's one of my best friends now, really awesome guy. But we were supposed to go watch a movie at this free movie theater they have on campus, which is at Hendricks Student Center, which I talked about earlier.
That's awesome.
And he just like disappeared. I don't know where he went. Kind of blew me off, and I was super bummed. I was talking to my sister on the phone. I was like, I'm going to be a loser here. I'm not going to meet anyone. I was just freaking out, super far from home. And
every freshman's nightmare.
Yeah.
My one friend left me, and now I'm alone.
The next night I was playing spike ball in a ballroom that we like kind of snuck into. And it was just one of the most fun nights I had there.
Wow.
And so just like, don't freak out. It's going to be all right.
Yeah. And I feel like kind of going off what you're saying, like keep an open mind to things. Like you went in like you didn't even know about ROTC, and like I feel like it's kind of good to have an open mind and try not to go in with like, like conceived ideas of like what you should do. Like, I'm going to go and join a fraternity, or I'm going to go and, join a club sports. Like, just be like kind of, I guess, open-minded, go with the flow of it. Like you kind of did. You just keep an open mind. And I think the biggest thing is like, even freshman year, like I remember I wanted to transfer, and I'm very glad I did. And I loved the school that I went to, and I have no regrets, and, it was awesome. And, but I definitely felt what you were feeling. Even though I was close to home, I felt like, like I'm not fitting in. I'm not making, the friends. I don't know like what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. So I guess also kind of like going off of what you're saying is keep an open mind and just kind of follow interest and try to do the right thing. But like you said, kind of take it easy, what's that song lyric? It's like, don't let the grease on the wheels drive you crazy. Yeah. Take it easy. Yeah, do that. Take it easy. So, but, all right, man. Well, hey, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. And, yeah, this is so much fun. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
All right, brother.
See ya.